Hey guys, what's up? So we're back. Sorry about this. I'm trying to find ways, just trying to figure out what could be causing the lag. But I think if I click that, it should. Yeah, no, it's still doing it. Yeah, no, I just can't seem to find a way. I have a feeling it's to do performance-wise on the machine, but I checked the settings; they're all fine. It's got access to half my RAM, half my processor power, and as much graphics card power it needs. But you know, you can do it. But yeah, so today we're gonna be talking about roles on the servers. First of all, let's show this off. So for you who have never used Discord before, you'll see this in a chat room you've never been in before, where you can see all the messages that have been sent. You get told that, oh, there's 2 new messages and live announcements. Which, by the way, guys, if anytime I'm live streaming, this is where it'll be on Discord. So we'll wait for it to load. The machine's been off for a while, but so you can see, hi everyone, we've got a live stream here. We've got 2 new live streams in total, 1 Let's Chat, which by the way guys I recommend check out. It's the best Let's Chat I've had so far. We actually had people coming in and chatting, which is brilliant. That's what I love to see in Let's Chat, because that's what it's designed for people to chat about their channels and you know what they do. But anyway, but let's say you don't want to go in every single one of these chat rooms. You can just right click and you should say mark as read. Just stream chats. That's like this thing. So that we've got community live videos, which is community videos and streams. This is where you can post your own stuff, like your own videos for YouTube. Let's say you upload a video, you post it here, and well, you know, get some publicity. I think I said it right. I don't care if I have or haven't. Alright, anyway, self promo. This is a new channel on here, by the way. As you can see, it's where you can promote yourself. But we've got after 12 you chat. I see there's 4. That basically tells us how many new messages are in the chat room, but it also just says this message. You can, let's say you don't have to do right click over. You can just right click on the server, mark as read, and that'll mark every single one of these as read. So you don't have to go through each and every one, which is a bit easier to be honest. But now we're going to talk about permissions and rules, sort of permissions, more rules. So we're going to talk about today how to add someone to a role, remove them from a role, and create a role. But first we have to create a role, obviously, so I've done it backwards. Anyway, so you'll have to go to your server settings. Now, if this is the first time you watched, go watch the other 2 there, or it was just the last one even. The first one was more how to install it. So you don't click user settings. This is your settings, so yourself. Which by I know there's a lot of people with microphone problems on Discord. They don't quite know how it works. You just go into the user settings, voice and video, and you've got an option of voice activity, which I've had a mic set up in this VirtualBox. It would show the microphone here, but I haven't got that set up yet. But then you got push to talk. Now, depends on what one you want to use. Do you want it so it detects you anytime you're talking, or do you want it to only detect when you're pushing a button? Now apparently it's a Windows update. I'm going to postpone that for right now. But really, it doesn't matter what one you use. If you're having problems with voice activity, use push to talk. But voice activity, you'll see like a little bar here. When you talk, there should be an orange bar and a green bar. It's not that hard to learn to use, but it can be at times. But yeah, you just adjust the bar till anytime you talk, it picks you up. It sort of cancels out background noises as well. But to add a role in that, you just go to settings, your server settings, and it should be in here. Now, mobile phone, I'm not too sure how to do it, but I think it's similar. Again, we talked about all these in the last video, but we were doing roles today. So you go to your role, you can see this is the by default the everyone role. You can't get rid of it as far as I can remember. This is a role everybody gets into by default. So you can say, oh well, if you're new to the server, you don't get to speak, you can't contact anyone, well not contact, connect to anyone, because this is voice permissions, so they're not allowed to mute members, not allowed to deafen. I like to leave these available, because if there's somebody they don't like, they can just mute them. It's a lot easier. But then, as a server owner, you can mute anybody on the server you want to completely mute them in totally. So we're going to create a role and call this role, let's call it admin. Right, as you can see now, here you can pick a custom color that way, or you click one of these pre-designed ones. I tend to go for this and click red for admin. Now, this one is quite a good one. So if you've got moderators or admins and you want people to see them separately, all you have to do is click that. So if I click save changes, I'm not adding any permissions to this. It's just basically similar to the everyone role with a different name. So now if we go back, we can go to here, the user, we can add a role this way. There's about 3 ways we can add roles. There's that way, and then we can right click and where's roles? Down the bottom, we can add a role there. Or if you're on mobile phone, you'll have, I think this is the only way you can do it, is back to server settings, go to members, and then you can add roles here as well. So that's about 3 ways. Now in the admin roles, as you can now see, the admins are displayed separately from everything else. Right, so it basically separates them up in the different lists. So you got the general users. You don't have to have this for every role. I don't tend to have it for every role myself. If I was to go here and go to my bots chat, I can invite a bot to my server this way, because my bots all have by doing the info tab, you can invite my bot to your server. It's not always active. It keeps going offline sometimes. So right now it is active. So we can select that. You can see I'm online, and so is my other account. I tend to be always online on Discord, so if you ever do need anything, again, just message me on Discord. I will happily reply. So by clicking that, that should have opened up Chrome. YouTube, Google Chrome. Odd. But this is a Google link. This is an invite link for the bot. Here we go. Now it's working. Ish. But yeah. Basically put, the bots will have their own permissions. But now, let's basically focus right now just on that, and then we'll get to bots in a minute. So if we go back to our role, right now the role doesn't have any permissions, so this is an admin role. So everybody in here is going to need admin permissions. So this role is for more like people who can help you manage your server. Like, I help people with their server, so I have to be in the admin role in order to do so. That way I can create roles. Like just simply put, if I go here, here it is, administrator role. This basically gives members the same power as you almost, but they can't delete your server like you can. So you can't just add someone they can delete. A bot can delete your server, so be careful with bots though. Just have a look at the permissions, because there's been a few bots out there that somebody can just join your server, enter a command, and they then thus become an admin, and they kick everyone from the server and delete the server. They're very bad bots, basically. But yeah, allow anyone to mention this role. So this one, so if we tick admin, right, we don't need to tick any of these. These are all in admin. So allow anybody to mention it. So like if you're needing to post a message out or notification to all your admin users, you just tick this. Now it is needed for when you're doing bots, but we're not doing bots right now. But anyway, yeah, save. If we close off that, now I have both on my this account, the server owner account, has the same permissions as I would, as I'm both online. But now, to kick someone from the role, it's the same way. You can either right click, role, uncheck, or you can select the user and kick them that way as well. But again, if you're on a phone, you're going to have to go through to server settings, again, wait for this to open, members, and then you can remove it here as well. Now, when you remove them from the role, they no longer have those permissions. Good, the bot's ready to go on. So if you're adding a bot to your server, you just just Google Discord bots, you can find a few. And if I full screen this to make it a bit easier, so you can see, so I've got to select the server. Now, if I remember right, you have to have be able to, like, this requires you to have manage server permissions on the server. So you have to be able to manage it. So either you're the owner or you're an admin. I think moderators, depending on what settings you give them, a moderator should be able to kick someone, ban someone, sort of thing. But again, you're the owner, so you decide what they get. I like this button when it says read your bot better. Sometimes if you haven't when you make your bot, you've not given it permissions, we have anything. If we authorize the bot, it'll wait and go beep boop beep. There we go, and you just tick this. It'll take a while, and it unchecked itself. Oh, I've got to verify. Damn it, you. God. Fire hydrant. That's a fire hydrant. That's a fire hydrant. And that's a fire hydrant. Yeah, that's a fire hydrant. And that's a part of a fire hydrant. And I don't see any other photo. That gave me the image because it didn't quite know what one was it. You can make bots that can bypass that, but it's a bit harder and more advanced. Right, now the bot's been authorized to join the server. So if I close out Chrome, open up Discord again. Now, you may notice on the Discord icon there's a red circle dot. That is basically implying there's messages to be read on your server. I see there's not any commands on here just yet. But now, bots have their own permissions. This bot, my bot, is sort of set up for my server. So it can't find out your server's role IDs. And it kind of needs it. Because every time you create a role, the role has its own ID. But again, we'll get into all this when we get to making bots. So right now, some commands on this bot. So this one should work. So that's the loop command. It basically repeats a message every so often. If we delete the last 4 messages, you notice this is something I've set up so moderators can clear the commands, but they can't. Other users can't use it because any user can delete a message of their own by just simply going here, delete message, delete. Because I don't have the permissions, I can't. However, you can set up user ID bots as well, but we'll get to the bot making stuff in the next episode, or even in Let's Chat, the next Let's Chat video. Get into the bots there if you want. Right, so we've got the rules. We've done the permissions. We're telling people how. I've told you how to do all the stuff like add a bot, do permissions. Now, let's say we want another permission. Let's say a moderator role. So if we go to roles, we add another role right up here. Now you may notice the bot actually gets its own role. That is fine. The bots get their own roles. I find it easier if you go and create a bot role. Just call it bot. And I tend to grey it out with a dark grey almost. And then just give it an admin role. Save. And making sure it's also separated, because that way if users are looking for a bot, they know there's a bot. And again, bots are technically users that are doing stuff, in a way. So we can add another role, a bot role, and there the bot is displayed separately. But let's add the moderator role. Or well, in fact I'll just talk you through all the roles. So view audit logs. Now your server logs everything you do. It's sort of like if you want your users to be able to see what's happened, when, who's done stuff. That's more of a moderator stuff. You can add that to a moderator, and a moderator can say, okay, that person's banned this person at that time. So if we now at everyone rule, I tend to tell you just to leave this as default, because everyone can't kick people here. You see, they can't ban people, but they can create invite links and change nickname. This doesn't mean change everybody's nickname. It's just change their own nicknames. Manage nicknames not allowed to do. manage emojis, they're not allowed to do it because the server has its own emojis and audit logs. And here's the audit logs here for that. You can see updated roles. Again, we went through this in the last video, so if you have not seen, if you don't know what it is, just jump back to the last video, be fine. But yeah, so if you add a role, call this role, and we'll just leave new role, give it the color of, let's go green. Again guys, you don't have to pick the same colors, you pick any color you want. So I want these people to be able to manage roles. So this person is allowed to change the role of people. However, they can't, right now, they can't change the role of anybody who, they can't affect the admin role. If I was in the admin role right now, I can't change any of the settings here, because that is my highest level I can change. So I can't change anything on the same level as me, but I can change stuff below that level, if that sort of makes sense. But yeah, so anyway, bot server is there, but the new role, let's change, so this role will be able to kick and ban members. Let's just see, view added logs, because I want them to see that, because this is going to be moderator. They're not admins. I'm not taking an admin because we've already got an admin role, and if somebody needs to be an admin, you could just change the role to admin. But remember, admins get similar permissions to you. A lot of these things have descriptions, so manage channels. Members with permission can create a new channel and edit or delete existing ones. Now this is the moderator, so we're not going to be they don't need that. And we want them to be able to manage nicknames of members. So this way, if somebody's changed their nickname to something inappropriate, for instance, something you don't want, you want the moderator to be able to change it. Send TTS messages. That's text to speech. It's okay at times, but to be honest, a lot of people could take abuse of it. So that's why when I go into everyone, I tend to disable it, because a lot of people tend to say stuff, and if you're just on your computer, you get messages text to speech to you. But you do /TTS and they should get it. Now, because it's moderator, we're going to allow them to manage the messages. And if it's ticked, you can read it, so they can read message history, yes. Attach files, yes. But let's say for everyone, we don't want them to attach files. That means they can't send photos either. So I tend to leave that ticked. I don't know why. It might have been changed by now, but it used to be that way. So I just leave it ticked. Now, they want this role is going to be able to mute members, deafen members, and move members. Move members means if they are in the chat room general, right, we can then move them to AFK just by dragging them over. Or I think there's usually a couple ways to do it, but again, this is not really important right now. Oop, chopped something. Oh well. And back to settings. Server settings. Oh, where is it? Roles. New role. Now, it's important. Remember to save the changes you make to this. Just because sometimes it's, not saved. Doesn't save it. Now, you can delete role by scrolling to the bottom and hit delete role. But again, we don't need a delete role. So, we'll call this one moderator. As you can see, it's asking to save. We're going to hit save. That's it, saved now. And we want the moderators to be displayed. Now, it's optional. You can either have them moderators displayed separately from anyone else, or you can have them displayed with everybody else. They'll just have a green name, because the user's name's changed based on the highest level of. So if someone's a moderator and admin, it'll display their name in red rather than green. Or if someone's a bot for some reason and a moderator, they'll display as bot, because again, bot is the highest level they've got. So I'm going to display this separately and allow everyone to mention it. So the again, the app mention is I can display it here. So if I give myself the moderator role, if I was to @moderator, press enter, and then put a message like, say welcome. That means all the moderators will see this message and so will everyone else, but if someone's not muted the server, they won't hear it. Again, also this is good because up at the top right of Discord, just here, you'll see update is ready. If you've got Discord open all the time and there's an update available, this will display and you can update. I'm not going to update it right now because again, this is a video one. It takes too long. But yeah guys, that's it for now anyway. There's not much else to explain. I'm not too sure what to do next video, but I'll be able to do something soon. And hope if you have any requests for help with Discord, just pop them on Discord or in the comment section of this video, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.